Hello, Pittsburghers. My name is Wynn Calland, and I grew up in Pittsburgh many, many years ago. This is a story about my love affair with the city and with my train set and with sports in general in the Pittsburgh area. When I was 5 years old, my dad gave me a box for Christmas. And that was in 1969, so that was 60, when I'm now 66, so that was many, many years ago. And he gave me this box, and it was the only thing I got for Christmas. And I didn't know what was in it. And when I opened the box up, it was a brand new Lionel train O-gauge, the big kind, not the little HOs, but the big kind. And I just was so starstruck I couldn't believe it. I don't think he knew that I was going to have quite the reaction I had, but I did. I just loved it. And this train right in the front here is the original train that my dad gave me 66 years ago, or 60 years ago, and and it still works, and it's just one of the greatest things that I've treasured all these years. So I grew up in Pittsburgh after second grade. And we came basically to Pittsburgh from New York. And it's a great story on that day and that month that we came here. We came here in 1960, about a month after Mazeroski hit the home run that won the 1960 World Series. And yes, I said we lived in New York, in Westchester County, which is right out of New York City. And so I remember that day, I got off the bus about 3:30 in the afternoon. And I got off the bus and I went home and turned on the TV, and I was able to turn it on just in time to see Mazeroski hit that home run over the left field wall. And I was devastated. And I was a great Yankee fan in those days. And little did I know that, that the city that I would move to, who were the victors then, would turn out to be just one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. We moved to Pittsburgh maybe a month or two after that. And I still remember walking down. We moved to Mount Lebanon in the South Hills. And I remember moving there and walking down the street in Mount Lebanon up in Washington Road. And a lot of traffic, and the city was dirty then. And I walked down that street, and there was still confetti around, and there was still stuff in the ground and in the sewers and stuff. And I thought to myself, boy, what have we moved to? And over the course of the next years, I went to school there, and in my growing-up years in Mount Lebanon, went to Mount Lebanon High School, was able to play on the championship team in 1971. Just had a great time in Pittsburgh, and of course the 70s were the great years with all the great Steeler teams, with also the Pirates in 79 and 71. Penguins in those years started to play very good hockey, and I was there for the Stanley Cup championships in the 90s. It was just a great town to grow up in. And so what I wanted to do here, I'm going to explain to you what this train layout is, but as you can see, this is basically a model of downtown Pittsburgh. Now, it's not a professional model. I mean, I didn't take a picture or a photograph and try to emulate exactly what was in the photograph, because as I'll explain later, all of the things you see here were given to me as gifts, and I've hauled them around in my life for the last 60 years, and I've never had a place before that I could display all of my gifts and all of the things that I have in Steeler Village here. And so finally I moved to Dallas, Texas. We're here basically retired, and I'm here because our daughter is a veterinarian here, and she moved here about 5 years ago, and we wanted to come down here and be with our family as her family and our grandkids were being born and raised. So that's why we're here in Dallas. And we live in actually a little town called Keller, north of Fort Worth. And so I'm standing here in the middle, broadcasting to you from the middle of the Ohio River, believe it or not. And of course, you guys, all of the layout, and that Mount Washington behind me, and that the stadium areas. And I have some unique things that, because of the collection of things that I had, I built this whole layout to contain everything that I had so I could display almost everything that I'd saved for many, many years. So there will be some creative experience here with respect to things won't be exactly geographically the way they are. And of course, I have some railroad bridges and things that have to be placed here in order to have a train set, of course. But basically, the Point, Mount Washington, the stadium areas, Ohio River, Monongahela, Allegheny. These are the things that I grew up with, and these are the things that I've themed this railroad set and this display after. So what I would like to do is talk a little bit about how I put this together, the theme of this, how it ties together, and then talk about a little bit about the construction, and then I'd like to show you just run the trains.